What's up, Net Soldiers? I'm Net Alliance, and today I'm exploring more Star Wars ages. Because the first video did really well, and a ton of you guys have requested more. So I decided to say, what the hey. So here is Star Wars character ages that will blow your mind, part 2. But before we begin, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for more Star Wars videos. But with that said and out of the way, let's begin. Now beginning with our first age fact, Qui-Gon was 60 years old in The Phantom Menace, and Dooku was 80 years old in Attack of the Clones. And since there's a 10-year gap between The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, this means Dooku would have been 70 during The Phantom Menace. And so Qui-Gon and Dooku have only a 10-year age difference, which to me just seems crazy when you compare the two characters. And a lot of the age differences will have to do with the actors themselves, because I believe Liam Neeson and Christopher Lee were like 30 years apart in age or something like that. So to only find out that these characters are actually 10 years apart, and the fact that Qui-Gon is 60 in the first place is already pretty mind-blowing. So when you add the idea that Count Dooku is 70, only 10 years older than him, it's pretty crazy. But for me, although I could believe maybe a 20-year difference, even that's kind of pushing it, do you know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, a 10-year difference is just a little far-fetched in my opinion. Now for our second fact, speaking of Qui-Gon, as we know, he was 60 years old in The Phantom Menace, and his Padawan, Obi-Wan, was 25 years old. This means they had a whole 35 years age difference. Now this one really gets me because a Jedi Master, I feel like 30 years is kind of like a really big difference, but I think that makes more sense than something that would be between like Anakin and Obi-Wan, which is only 15 years, or even Anakin and Ahsoka, which is only 5 years. Plus, I'll give you another bonus fact to add on to this one. It's really crazy to think, by the time Obi-Wan was 25, he was still a Padawan. And although he was on the cusp of knighthood, Anakin Skywalker, who started much later than him, by the time he was 23, he already had an apprentice of his own. And I'm sure a lot of this chalks up to the fact that the Clone Wars happened, so a lot of Jedi were dead, or missing, or needed in the military spots, so they didn't actually have masters, so they kind of cut corners here and there. But to me, I think it's pretty interesting here that Qui-Gon and Count Dooku only had a 10-year age difference, and Ahsoka and Anakin only had a 5-year age difference, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan had a 35-year age difference. It just sounds kind of odd when you put it that way. But we're not done with Obi-Wan just yet. For our third fact, Obi-Wan in A New Hope was 57 years old, meaning at the time of Kenobi's death, he was 3 years younger than Qui-Gon was when he died, which to me is just crazy, for Obi-Wan looks to be around Dooku's age at the time of his death. Now, I do realize there is a lore reason for this, and a lot of people don't know this, so I'll tell you guys. So essentially, something about Tatooine's atmosphere and having the two suns, it makes you age quicker. And that's why Obi-Wan looks like he could be in his late 70s compared to his late 50s like he's supposed to be. And although I think this lore fact is pretty far-fetched, especially when you look at Luke, Luke looks like he could be 19 years old, so why didn't he get aged more? You know, it's weird when you consider that. I don't know, maybe Luke used double the sunscreen outside, you know what I mean? Because there's two suns, so you should use double the sunscreen. You get it? You know, double sunblock. Haha. Okay, next fact. Okay, now if those ones didn't get you, I have a feeling this one definitely will. At the time of Mace Windu's death, or should I say supposed death, because there is fan theories out there that suggest that he is still alive. So with that said, at his supposed death, Mace Windu was 63 years old, which is already crazy when you think about it. But when you add on the fact that Palpatine was also 63 years old at the same time, this really blows your mind. Because if you look at both of them, Palpatine looks a lot older than Mace, at least 10 years older, and even that's kind of pushing it. I don't know, to see Mace Windu and Palpatine fighting, it just seems really crazy because Palpatine looks so much older. Maybe Palpatine spent a lot of time on Tatooine for a while, who knows? But whatever the case, I think it is a pretty mind-blowing fact. Now for our last fact, I have heard plenty of fan theories that result with Rey and Kylo actually being twins in some way. I know, it's ridiculous, but I've heard it and I feel like I should be the one to silence it. Because they could not be twins, for it would be impossible. Because like I mentioned in my previous Star Wars character age video, Rey in The Force Awakens is 19 years old. So in order for them to be twins, Kylo would have to be 19 as well. But unfortunately for those who actually believe this theory, Kylo is 29 years old in The Force Awakens, which means they have a whole 10 years age gap. But that is not the craziest part, for if you have seen my previous video, you know Han and Leia have a 10-year age gap as well. And of course, they got together and had Kylo. So although Rey and Kylo may not be twins, there is still room for some possible romance in the future. So did any of these facts blow your mind? Do you think Kylo and Rey are gonna get together at some point? Is Mace Windu still alive? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for more Star Wars videos. But until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Hey you, yeah you, the one watching this video. You have a body, right? Cool, you know what that means? You need some clothes to cover that body. Luckily, Net Alliance is here with the merch for you. We got shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, we even have mugs. But this sweet Net Alliance merch won't last forever. So make sure to follow the link in the description below to pick up some sweet Net Alliance merch. Isn't that right, Palpatine?
Do it.